It's always exciting to see live music, whether it's a no-name bar band or a rock and roll Hall of Famer. The promise of a live performance is hard to beat. Even amongst all that excitement, certain musicians stand out among the rest, known far and wide for their legendary live shows. Naturally, the boss, Bruce Springsteen, and his famous E Street Band are one such legendary act. Boasting high-energy, 3-hour shows that are tailored to each city they perform in, the New Jersey singer-songwriter and his massive backing band are nothing short of a religious experience for concert-goers. It's no wonder, then, that 2 hardcore Christians were seen protesting the Springsteen show in Seattle on February 27th, 2023. After all, how could a simple Sunday Mass ever compare to the spectacle, the glory, and the almighty power of the boss and his rowdy band? Even ludicrously high ticket prices, a continuing source of controversy for big acts like Springsteen, Taylor Swift, and Blink-182, couldn't stop Seattle from filling out the 17,000 seats in the Climate Pledge Arena that night. Among those 17,000 starstruck attendees were 2 individuals that fans of this show will know well. That's right, your host is always, the Snake. And my heart-stopping, pants-dropping, house-rocking, earthquaking, booty-shaking, Viagra-taking, love-making, legendary co-host,
Lex Mildenberger
saw Bruce Springsteen live in Seattle, and we're going to talk about the experience today on Cover Me. And this, if we had a theme song, would go here. Because usually I then introduce us and after the intro.
The intro.
But I tucked it in.
It's all one.
It's all one.
Usually we're also not together in the same room.
Yeah, usually I'm not looking at your face as I'm talking.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Looking around. Alex Mildenberger, how are you doing?
Oh, I mean, good. We've been active here in the Emerald City.
The Emerald City.
For the last couple days.
The city by the bay.
City by the bay.
Never sleeps.
City that never sleeps.
City of Angels.
City of Angels here in the northwest coast.
Yeah, the Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Feeling good. Feeling
good.
Sore feet, but I feel fulfilled.
Yeah, we've been hitting those streets every day. We're out here.
We've been touristing.
Yeah.
Been seeing the sights.
We've
been experiencing stuff.
Space Needle saw it.
Space Needle saw it.
Rip
Didn't
off
go
of
up
the
in
Calgary
it.
Tower.
Yeah.
Loser.
Guys. Didn't even ever go into space.
Fucking come on. It's a tower. It's fucking bolted into the ground.
You charge me that much to go up?
To go up and not
I can see the top from down here. Thank you very much.
I can see sky anywhere else. Thank you very much. But we're in Seattle and we saw Bruce Springsteen. Alex.
Yeah, we sure did.
Last time we talked about a concert was in April of last year.
About a year ago.
Yeah, and that was Jacob Collier.
Yeah.
A thoroughly underwhelming concert.
Yeah, it was an all right time. I've been to better concerts.
This, one of them.
Yes. Yeah. Surprisingly.
Alex, it's been a long journey to get here, though. The tickets were announced.
True.
And it was, we know, as I'm sure any person who's gone to a live concert in the past 5, 10 years, even 20 years, 50 years. How long's Ticketmaster been around?
I think 2 decades or so is
probably
the sort of time
2
frame.
decades is when things have gotten
yeah, like prices are going up and up. And I remember hearing horror stories about people going to see the Rolling Stones in particular, and this would have been maybe between 03 and 06, and thinking like $300 for a ticket. That's crazy.
That is
crazy.
But
like, ladies and gentlemen, we paid that and then some.
And then some. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we had kind of laid things out here because we were like, here's the city, because we weren't sure. And so people, if you're listening to this, you're like, guys, he's playing in Canada. Yeah, we know that now.
Yeah, we know that now.
We know that now. We didn't know that fucking 8 months ago, I think it was. It was around May, June, even July.
Whenever the tickets went up.
The tickets went up.
I don't remember.
You were in, you know what? It was late July because you were in Saskatchewan.
It was, for that wedding.
Yeah. Yes, but we didn't know at the time, and we knew that, I mean, I have the trauma of having not been able to see David Bowie live.
I have that a little bit.
One of the greats. You as well, of course.
See David Bowie.
You also have the added trauma of not seeing Tom Petty live.
True. I missed out on Tom Petty because I said, nah, I don't need to see him this time. Maybe next time. And then he died. Well, first he didn't come back to Calgary. Yeah. He went to Vancouver, I think, a couple times.
Of course
or at least once.
Did.
And then died. Passed away. So It happens. These guys are getting old.
These guys are getting old.
And this, I mean, in particular, Bruce Springsteen is known as a really good live show. And I'm generally familiar with that. Big fan of the music. And it is, I mean, I've been calling it a bucket list item. Obviously, maybe that's more of an old person thing, but like it kind of is. Like I really wanted to see this. And it's not necessarily my own bucket, you know?
Right. Yeah, you're right. There's other buckets you have to consider.
It's not like I want to go see the Eiffel Tower. Like that's going to be there.
Yeah.
I can go see that whenever, but
theoretically, it could die. It
could go away.
Unnatural causes.
Anyway, I don't want to be too morose.
Right, but and it will come up again. Death is, I think, on the forefront.
Yeah, it came up
of Bruce Springsteen's mind in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
it came up in this show. But yeah, that was forefront in our minds. We got to get in now, and we can't wait and hope that he's got Canada dates.
Yeah.
So we laid out, I think we were like Portland and Seattle are probably our best bets.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to get into New
You can
York.
take a bus down.
I can take a bus down.
Fairly simple for me to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We made it happen. Alex locked in the tickets and it was with $350. You texted me, you're like $350. I'm like, yeah.
Like, I can do that. I'm like, by the way, I forgot to convert the currency
from
US
shopping,
to Canadian.
At an American website, often they'll give you American prices. So we ended up paying $500 in our sad dollars for tickets. We did it, folks. We bit the bullet. Alex, I guess the first question is, was it worth it?
Was it worth it? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's maybe a bit easier for me to eat. Sort of
there are questions of and time also heals all.
Yeah, and it's been a few months, so I'm like, I spent that money months ago.
Exactly. I've recouped that loss. The show feels free now. Like,
yeah, exactly. But I'm if I hadn't done it, I would have regretted it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it was worth it to avoid that, because I think for the rest of my life, I would have been saying like, oh, I decided not to do this, or like I almost did this, but I didn't do it. So like now I have done it. Now
I was on the verified fans list. I could have pre-sale.
I could have done it, but I was busy that day. Like no. I did it.
We did it. We made it out.
Now we've done it.
Now we've done it. Alex, Climate Pledge Arena. The second arena you've been to in your life.
Yeah.
You claimed earlier today.
It's within, like, I don't go to arenas, right?
Yeah.
I've been to, I can't think of another one I've been to except for the
I've been to the Saddle Dome
in Calgary. Yeah. That's the arena there. And like other rinks. Like there's the Roundup Center. Does that count? Maybe.
Yeah. In terms of ones that I think harbor large events.
Yeah.
In this case, concerts is what I think.
It's bigger than any other arena I've been to, which is not saying much, but it's a different scale. Everything here.
What's the arena?
Is a different scale.
Red Deer.
That's true. We went to that one. That's Commonwealth.
Yeah, I think that's right. We saw Rush there in 2013.
Yeah, so that's that, but that's smaller than the Saddle Dome. So
that's 100% true. Very small. Yeah, so we're used to small town / small city arenas.
Yeah,
I still haven't been to the Rogers Arena in Vancouver, but living there.
Yeah, it's not the same. And like just seeing the Rogers Arena, from the outside is like, again, it's a different scale.
Yeah.
It's a different scale from what I'm used to.
Exactly. But yeah, huge arena. They're called the Climate Pledge Arena because they're committed, apparently, and they are doing things to just reducing their.
Yeah, I didn't look into it at all.
But the waterless urinals was a big thing. I guess a lot of the cashless payment. Yeah. Oh, you didn't go to the bathroom?
No. So the cashless payment is meant to be,
I think, part of that.
Oh,
I imagine. I think it's like reducing paper.
Okay.
Probably the big part. And then
there's some like big ass screens that probably use a lot of energy.
They got to be like, you know how there's like the green scaling for the this is green energy.
True, and like they probably have like solar panels or something.
But you probably could have cut down on the screens.
They were like pretty bright, and some of them were just like, "This is the Climate Pledge Arena." Here's some, I don't know. It wasn't even like an advertisement or something, which you'd expect. Right?
Yeah. Sometimes just like shots of like farmland or something.
Yeah, like look at this. It's the climate.
Yeah, it's like green footage, nature. And windmills.
There's some plants.
A river.
There's some plants.
Wheat.
Real plants.
Yeah, real plants. Real plant. Well, I'm not allowed to touch it.
And we didn't, because we are good boys and girls.
Yes. Each and every one of us.
Each and every one of us.
No, people were manhandling those plants. No, they weren't. I touched it, and then I saw a sign. I was like,
Oh, it's real.
It's real. Yeah, big arena.
Yeah.
Big merch. Big merch. But let's talk about getting in really quick.
Compared to what I'm used to.
For
sure.
They and we were in like because they have a strict bag policy we discovered.
Yeah, it has to be like either X-rayed as you go in or like transparent.
Which
I did not see a lot of transparent bags.
No, because they should have a guy. I'm surprised there's not some entrepreneur outside there. This is an
Selling
entrepreneur summer like, pre-sale idea. This is sell your transparent bags out there.
Yeah. I don't know.
But yeah, they fucking filed us in. 17,000 people.
Yeah, we also got, we were pretty close to the front of the line.
And there was those two
there was lots of doors, lots of ways to get in.
Exactly. At least
there's a lot of access compared to, thinking about walking around the Saddle Dome. Like, it takes a long time to get between entrances compared to that.
Yeah, there was, they were very close to each other.
And I think part of it is it's sunken down.
Right, because you enter in and then you fucking tuck into the lower floors or go up.
Seems like a pretty good idea to me, actually, for a stadium. Especially, it's probably colder down there. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
For its hockey stadium.
Yeah,
which I think Kraken, the Seattle Kraken play there?
Seattle Kraken, that's correct. They're I believe it's their home stadium.
Yeah. They had merch stores.
They had their sponsored beer, Modelo.
Is that what that is?
That is, yeah. They had. I think that was their big. When we came in, there's the big bar there. That's the Modelo bar. What do you think of those protesters, Alex? Preachers.
Oh, I don't know. I was just excited. I'm experiencing. It's the USA experience.
But
we still have protesters.
True, yeah.
Yeah, we see them.
It was so crazy that it was like gates open and two dudes roll out of the nearby
shouting
church.
Immediately,
and they're like, "This is idolatry. This is the devil's work." I'm like, Bruce Springsteen, of all the artists, of all the big name artists you could protest.
I would say they'd protest anyone, I'm sure.
Sure, yeah.
I wonder if they would protest anyone.
But
do they say the same thing?
Like, may God bless you on your way out.
Yeah.
Super, Catholic.
He did a read, not really ad, but a plug or whatever for the food
West
bank.
Seattle Food Bank, which is
they're doing God's work, and I was like,
yeah, he's like, they're doing God's work.
That's cool. Yeah, so
may God bless you on your way home. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was like, thanks, Bruce. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's charming. We're gonna talk all. This is just the preamble.
Yeah,
because next we got to talk merch.
Merch. Yeah, there was some. Lately, I find I've been disappointed.
Yeah.
By shirt designs, usually there's one that I like, and I say lately, but it's always kind of been true. But lately, I've not found necessarily a shirt that I've liked, and I haven't bought a lot of shirts at concerts lately. But there were a couple good ones.
But have been because there are shows where I'm like, I don't need merch for this. There's somewhere I'm like, I would be keen to pick up something.
But then there's not really anything that catches my eye.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't really want a pin or a hat.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can buy this snapback or trucker hat or baseball cap, whatever.
Yeah, I could.
Variation on that. I'm like,
but I'm not going to.
Not really for it. Don't really need a beer koozie.
Don't need a beer koozie. What would you need it for?
Yeah. No, but there was a good one. We both got the same one because it was cool.
We tend to do that.
Yeah. And we're like, oh, look. Nice colors. That's what caught my eye from a distance. It's like green and orange. Nice green shirt with an orange picture on it.
Yeah, and a good solid picture. Is it him in front of a car?
It's I for some reason I'm thinking it's the cover's book, but I'm not 100%.
Or there was an album that came out with that book, wasn't there? It wasn't like
or was it?
It's called Chapter and Verse. It might not be that
one. It's him in front of an old Mustang or something like that with his arms crossed,
looking cool,
and being 68 or whatever.
Okay, it's not. Oh no, is it? No, because Chapter and Verse is him much younger. It's an older picture.
Yeah, it's an older picture.
Yeah. Okay. But it is him. He's got a history of sitting in front of cars.
Yeah, standing on a car or leaning on the car or whatever. And just being cool. And it's kind of it's monochrome orange.
Yeah, it's
which
cool.
is cool.
Alex, tour dates on a tour t-shirt. Is that something is that a must-have for you or is that optional?
I like it on merch because that's a very much I was there kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't like it on vintage, when you get a shirt at just a graphic tee, right? And there's weird ones. You see and it'll be like a brand new shirt. It'll be like Rush 78. And it's like, well, not really. And it has all the tour dates printed. And it's like,
you're like, well, no.
That's not actually from the tour, right?
Right.
So, like, I don't know.
What's the point?
For me, it's like you printed that for the tour, and then anything else is not that, right? So I prefer to have that,
Yeah, and I love it on not on a buying a new shirt fine, but on a vintage shirt fine. It's tight when you find a concert shirt, like you're at like a thrift store, and you're like,
if it's a classic, actual classic one, sure.
Yeah, if it's the legit deal. But no, I do love the tour dates. There was a weird tour date one for way back. I'm talking high school era for us with Aerosmith, I want to say, where they had canceled I think they had an injury and canceled the show. And then the t-shirts had the wrong date for Calgary for a while. And then when they actually came to Calgary, they had updated shirts, I think. But some people had gone to Aerosmith in like probably Edmonton the night before. And so had gotten t-shirts with those dates on them. I don't know why.
I didn't see Aerosmith then.
Nor did I. But yeah, that's my Aerosmith t-shirt debacle. Shirts we got.
It's got to happen all the time, especially these guys are getting injured. They're old.
Exactly. Love to hear an old rocker injury. Anything else ever? You ever get any merch besides a t-shirt? I've gotten a hoodie before, which was a bad decision.
They're very expensive.
Very expensive and very thin material, typically.
Yeah. I mean, concert shirts, as much as I like to have them like as a souvenir, they're not always the greatest quality, and they often don't last very long.
Yeah.
And the hoodies are definitely not.
And I've been trying to make this move happen. I've been trying to do vinyl as a tour purchase.
Oh, that's not bad.
I had this idea, and in 2021, I was like, I'm going to do it at a show. I have not done it at a single show since, because I'm always like, I don't want to fucking haul around this goddamn fucking vinyl for the rest of the night. Did they have
discs?
I
didn't know.
I didn't see it at Bruce. I saw the poster, which was pretty cool. Signed
poster, which I also did not get.
I saw his either it was a hoodie or a jacket.
Some kind of jacket. I wasn't clear on what kind of jacket though.
There was a weird racing theme in this.
Yeah, which makes some sense. Yeah, it's like, classic cars.
And like racing,
like muscle cars,
muscle cars. It's all part of the mythos.
It's part of the look.
Yeah,
rock and roll, baby.
Weird a bit, but also sensible. Shirts, man. We got a good shirt.
Well, I mean, like Rush had like baseball jerseys.
Yeah, right. Rush is big. I guess, so you can just explore your other passions.
Whatever's interesting.
Through merch as a famous musician. Yeah. Alex, we got floor seats.
We did.
Not in the standing section, but in the sitting around section.
Yeah.
Boy, do they pack you in there with those connecting chairs.
They do. Yeah. Similar experience at John Mulaney.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just how they do it.
Yeah, it's because, how are you?
There was no standing room in that one because it's a comedy show.
Yeah. That would be so weird. These guys are going to stand and hear the jokes. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
They're going to dance, maybe? Yeah.
Some people who laugh really hard like to bend over. They need a little more space for it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. But so we were three of us in a row, and the guy beside me sat down most of the time, so I had a lot of space.
You got a lot of space.
Yeah,
okay. I felt very because Greta had put
between
down,
us. I probably could have given you a little more space. I was trying to move. You gotta shake your ass a little.
Yeah, you gotta shake, booty shaking, earthquaking.
Yeah.
And you were taking so much Viagra. It was fucking unreal.
Fistfuls.
Alex, no.
It's good for your heart.
Is it good? Yeah, I've heard that.
It's like a heart medication.
Okay, yeah. That's right. It was intended to be probably originally, and then became the boner pill.
Yeah.
So
it doubles. Does both.
Should we mention that we're going to kind of take by take through the show? What did you think about? Because we were in a sort of weird position in that we were right by the sound deck, which is tight, right by the sound booth.
Yeah, I thought we had great sound.
Great sound. Yeah. I think I should have earplugs. I think. Yeah. That. Because I imagine
I think everyone should have
it cuts out some of, not only from a health perspective, but I think it probably cuts out a bit of the
noise.
Yeah, a bit of the noise.
I think it does
at the end there.
Because I thought it sounded great, and yeah.
There was a moment after when it was Bruce and Steve singing into the mic at the same time. There was a big crack of sound, and I was like, "Fuck, arenas suck."
I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah, because it probably was filtered through your earplugs.
They are pretty solid earplugs. I definitely recommend.
So first big thing of the night, get earplugs, folks. Improve the sound quality. But visually, we're in a sort of pubescent spot and also floor-wise, because we don't have that dancing space, really.
Yeah, it is a bit awkward. And I've grown to appreciate standing room.
Yes, me too.
But it was so expensive to get there.
Yeah, good Lord.
And like, as much as like I like being on the floor, I was because it's closer, but we still like weren't that close.
Mm-hmm.
But it was good. It was good.
good.
You know, you can see him. Yeah, I've definitely had worse seats. And there was a guy in front of me. He was a bit tall, so I was worried, but he kind of leaned over. He had his arm around his girlfriend most of the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you
So,
could have swapped with me.
I
I would have let
space.
you. But
No,
yeah,
I had
you were
space.
good.
I had
You're
space.
good.
It was good. I could see well.
Yeah, big diverse crowd.
Yeah.
I always, whatever show I'm at, I always attract whatever bad energy is in the room. Whatever.
I mean, it's not just at shows. It's everywhere.
It's just
all the
everywhere.
time.
We were sitting there before this guy was like, "Hey man, it's gonna be a sick show."
I mean, he was right.
He was
but,
correct.
We're pretty sure he didn't have a seat. Like, I don't know how he got in because he was like moving around a lot. There was clearly someone else where he was talking to us from later.
Yeah, in that seat.
I don't know who he was. Yeah, it was just a guy who was also clearly quite drunk.
Yeah,
Being very excited.
pounding beers,
Shouting Bruce.
Bruce. Bruce. Let's talk about that shout. That's a tough shout. Bruce. Sounds a lot like boo.
I know it does. It does. I honestly was not pronouncing the B at all. I was just doing like a just doing it. I was just trying to add to that.
Yeah, that ooh effect.
I had a mask on the whole time though, so
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know how much of my voice was even audible.
It's tough.
Yeah,
But you got to stay safe out there, folks.
Gotta stay safe out there.
Got to do what is right. So that's the preamble to what is 2 hours and probably more close to 3 hours.
I think it was.
I've heard
really
the average
close to
time
3.
is 2:47.
Because like, and that I don't think counts the encore.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
I'm not
because
sure.
it was about a 2.5 hour.
Because like it started like right around 7:45.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like 10:45 when it stopped.
When
like
it stopped,
10:30
yeah.
to 10:40.
So,
I don't
we were
remember
about-
exactly, but it was
And then
like
I think encore
damn close to
kicked
3
off
hours.
10:15, somewhere in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
mhm.
remember it was like finishing up, you know, like they were saying like good night.
Mhm.
Hadn't introduced any of the band members.
Right.
Right. I looked at my phone and it was like 9:58 or something. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this isn't over yet. We're still
Yeah.
going. And then that was funny part too, right? They
Mhm.
didn't even have the pretense, really. They did that. They were like, we're going, but then like turned around and the percussionist, whose name escapes me right now, just went and sat back down at the drums.
Yeah,
like,
one
they
of
didn't,
the
like,
two percussionists.
true.
Yeah.
Didn't like go off stage and then come back slowly, which happens sometimes. And
Mhm.
you're like clapping, mic close to face, Alex.
Yeah.
And you're like clapping for 5 minutes as they pee. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
no fake outs like that, because even when he does his final track, he was just like, boom, the band's gone off, and then he just grabs a guitar,
grabs
from
a different
tech,
guitar.
and it
Yeah.
sets up for the final track. It was, he's an incredible showman.
Yeah. It really was.
Yeah.
It really was. I mean, I've heard it always, every time you go to a concert, people you say, oh, I saw so and so, and everyone's like, oh, I hear they have a great live show. And it's like, you kind of have to,
Mhm.
right? If you're a popular band
Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah, and if I think of acts like we've seen, even like Alice Cooper has a solid live show. It's
Yeah.
not on the same level as Bruce Springsteen, but
You didn't see him
I
the
didn't
second
see him
time
the
I saw
second
him.
time,
I thought
yeah.
that was a vast improvement.
oh yeah.
Personally. But it's a different energy.
Mm-hmm.
But this was definitely like top tier. And this guy's in his 70s.
Yeah.
So like everyone
his
else got to
70s.
step it up.
It's
But like his big thing to me is like he's a band leader.
yeah.
Right? And he definitely is. And he's going around all the different members and doing whatever with different members
Yeah.
throughout the night. And there's interactions. and stuff.
and truly band leading them. There is a moment where we have a dueling drum solo, which is phenomenal. He's like, you stop, boom, you go now. And
Yeah.
the other percussionist goes, boom, boom, back, forth.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Electrifying.
Electrifying. So he opens up. Now we Alex, you did your research here
Love it.
a little bit, and you're like, it's gonna be No Surrender.
Yeah.
And it was No
I know he had
Surrender,
opened
yeah.
with it before. I didn't check all the shows, but I know the
Yeah.
first show opened with No Surrender. So kind of expecting it.
And for what I'm seeing online from what little set list research I've done, it seems like he has like his bookends kind of figured out. I would say the encore probably doesn't shift much from town to town.
I wouldn't think so.
If at all.
No. It's a lot of like Born to Run stuff, so.
Yeah, literally we go Thunder Road, Born to Run, back to back. Dancing in the Dark. Glory Days.
10th Avenue Freeze Out.
10th Avenue Freeze Out.
Yeah.
And then you're out on, what is it, from my letter to you?
I got it here.
You got it here. I've got him. Yeah, I'll see you in my dreams.
Yeah.
And that is like his.
Oh, Rosalita's in there.
Oh, too. Rosalita's in there as well. Big numbers. So yeah, you get a lot. And we talk about live covers sometimes on our show. Yeah. And we've talked about live Bruce Springsteen covers.
Yeah.
So Bruce does, like, in terms of the song performances he cranks out here, they vary from being pretty much ripped from the vinyl.
Yeah, really straight
to like just twisted into
fairly out there. Like he had a really interesting version of Johnny 99, which I mean, I don't know if he's done it that way for years, but like I haven't heard it this way.
No.
And it was like really extended too. But he had an interesting section in there where he did like Johnny 99 into like E Street Shuffle. Actually, E Street Shuffle was cool too.
Yes.
I was really happy with the representation from The Wild, the Innocent and the E Street Shuffle personally.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm a big fan of that one.
I'm not familiar with the album at all.
Extensive Kitty's Back version, which is cool.
Another song I'm not familiar with. So I was like, is he just doing 10-minute blues jam? Like,
yeah, and it was just like, they were just like a bunch of solos.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, very cool. Unreal energy right from the start, which is what I love to see in a show. We talk about who is often, in my mind, called the British Bruce Springsteen, but Frank Turner, who pretty much opens the same way.
Yeah.
It's high energy.
Like runs out and like, let's go. Well, it's probably says, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Because he curses. Because he's
curses. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. He's, big energy, and you get big energy here. I was glad to see because he cracks off from that into Ghosts from Letter to You.
Yep. There's I think 5 or 6 Letter to You songs.
Yeah, so I was glad to see that getting some representation because it's a good album.
Yeah, I think from what I read, like he's done that, and he's done like a Springsteen, like he just released an album, but really he's touring Letter to You more or less, right? Because this is the E Street Band 2020 tour, and that was the last E Street Band,
right? Because Bruce Springsteen is, or The Strong Will Survive is just a Bruce Springsteen one. Only The Strong Survive.
I think so. I'm sure he would still collaborate, but it's not billed as Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah, but it's him getting like his big. He's just enjoying music and life on that one, which I think is part of his contemplation of death.
Yeah, which definitely came out a few times in this set list. And he had a little talk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, you said you were talking about covers. He did one cover, which is one he's apparently been doing for a few decades now. Yeah. But I don't know if he's recorded it. But like there are live recordings of it, which is Trapped. This is a Jimmy Cliff song. Not a song I know, but apparently one he's been doing since at least like 85 or something like that.
People knew it.
Yeah, and they were into it, which is pretty exciting. And I don't know if that's a Seattle thing, because he kind of
he sometimes we were
kind of hoping he would do like a Nirvana cover or something, or like Jimi Hendrix.
We were like, we literally looked at a list of Seattle musicians.
Could do a bunch of grunge stuff, I guess.
Yeah, is he gonna do like a grunge medley?
Yeah,
Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. Yeah. Kurt Cobain, like, so you bust out Foo Fighters, like, and like all like somehow viable options for this beautiful American like icon.
Yeah,
so he can take on these sort of forms of music, but no, he just did like a reggae classic, Jimmy Cliff, which was very cool. I want to jump back to Ghost because like No Surrender comes on, I'm like, fuck yeah, he plays it pretty close to the album. You're like, this is cool. Ghosts, you get the first taste of Jake Clements. Clarence Clements'
nephew, I think.
Is that correct? Yeah.
I think so.
Young dude playing the saxophone. And I don't know if I've ever heard saxophone in a live music context the way you would hear it in Bruce Springsteen and other like 80s music, but having that rip through an arena.
No, not really. I saw Jeff Tate one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
He opened for Alice Cooper, I think?
I believe that.
And he plays the saxophone. but it like his mic wasn't working, so we couldn't hear it.
Oh my god.
he had issues in that show.
That is issues.
Anyway, sorry.
But
Just
yeah,
side.
Jake Clements plays the sax pretty well enough to fill in like as playing by the album notes saxophonist.
And he does the sound pretty good.
The tone is there. Yeah, so once that started ringing through, I was like, "Oh, this is
He does the sound real good.
He does the sound real good. How stupid is that?"
Yeah.
But like,
anyway.
but also it's true.
Yeah.
Great spread. It's amazing to see him. He'll like through the course of a set list start just throwing away like big bangers. You're like, fuck, Bruce is gonna run out of like hit songs. But it's a bottomless bag almost.
Yeah, and he also like will play some of them for like 15, like extended
versions,
and be like, now we're doing some solos. Now I'm gonna do a solo.
Now that you guys have to sing along, and he makes you fucking work for to sing along.
And he moves like, I mean, he's getting up there, obviously, but he's still moving more than some much younger guys I've seen play.
There's 14 people on that stage.
Oh man,
give or take, because there's a full brass section, 4 dudes.
4 dudes there, 3 backup singers.
3 backup singers.
He's got 2 other guitar players.
Yeah.
Plus he's got like a violinist. Oh yeah. /guitar player.
Guitar player.
3 other guitar players.
Yeah.
And I've lost count already.
So it's, if we go from your top left here,
2 percussionists, 2 keyboardists.
2 keyboardists.
Yeah.
So that's 4 there. Then you've got the 4 brass plus Jake Clements, I believe.
I think
it might have been 3 other guys. You're looking at like 13, 14. I did the math. That's huge. So it's a stage that's got to fit all those people.
Yeah, big stage.
Big stage. Sold out stadium. So even the backstage seats are filled.
Yeah, behind the stage.
Are behind the stage. And Bruce, at least at one point, turns his back to us, the front audience, and just addresses
just plays to them.
Which what a kindness to these people who only paid probably $300 for seats.
Yeah, paupers.
But yeah, massive, and he is going back and forth on that stage. He is just frenetic, kinetic. He's moving.
Coming up, they was cut out, I think, into the...
Yeah, they had a straight, like a catwalk kind of...
As you might expect, he did not fall off of it.
He did not, that's a big injury point.
That's happened a couple times, right? To rock stars.
And he also had a little secret path to get him
to
the back end of the standing section.
Yeah. Which he did during the encore. Which is cool.
Yeah, I believe during... I want to say... No, it was during...
Probably 10th Avenue.
I think it was Glory Days. Or maybe it was 10th Avenue Freeze Out.
I feel like he went out there and he's like, this is the important part.
Yeah,
and then
he gestures to his big screens.
Yeah.
And then it's the Clarence Clemens Memorial. Prove It All Night, he plays After Goats. Great song.
Yeah.
Love that song. Not a lot to say about that otherwise. Letter to You. Saxophone on that was really good as well. So there's a lot of like, he gets Steve Van Zandt. It is Steve, right? Why does that feel wrong to me?
Is Stevie or Steven? Steve Van Zandt. There's another Van Zandt.
Okay.
Who does something.
Not like Earl Van Zandt or something? I don't really know.
There's another Van Zandt.
Okay, well, this Van Zandt and Jake Clements spent a lot of time, among others, like just hanging out with Bruce at the front.
Yeah.
And like sharing the mic or just doing the lean. And the first time it happened, I'm like, oh, they're doing the reverse of Born to Run. Now he's leaning on Bruce. And then other times he's just like hanging out there and smiling at Bruce. I'm like, what is the relationship between Bruce and young Jake? I'm not trying to make it evil, but like...
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Just because he would like... He talks about what great friend, like what great relationship he had with
Clarence.
With Clarence Clemens, and like, they were this amazing friends.
And yeah, it's like
really talks highly
of him. Like 10th Avenue Freeze Out is the closer because it is in some ways the Clarence Clemens song.
Yeah,
and it's like, and so just seeing this, I'm like, that's a big role for Jake to have to fill, both on a technical proficiency level and also on like what that dude means.
Because those are literal big shoes to fill.
Yeah, because he's the big man.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I guess I'm just worried for Jake. I'm like, is he going to be okay?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
It's big. He does a good job up there, though.
He does a good job out there. That's for damn sure.
Pretty good.
Yeah. We get The Promised Land. Giller track.
Classic.
Classic.
I think he's been doing that one forever. Like, it's been a very
that's been on a heavy rotation. Out in the street, we get some the river representation.
Yeah, you can sing along to that one. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Candy's Room and Kitty's Back. What's Candy's Room off of?
Candy's Room, I know as like the what is it? The Promise sessions,
Oh,
like a cut from. And here's the thing, because I don't know Kitty's Back. I think Candy's Room blended into Kitty's Back. It's sort of a lower end one. It's like
it's off of Darkness on
Darkest on the Edge of Town, so it would also be on the Promise sessions, I think, as a different version. But
okay.
But yeah, Candy's Room. It's sort of a low key one. I completely missed any. I don't remember Candy's Room happening. I don't know if I was just so hyped up on out in the street or what.
I don't know, man. It's hard to remember the specifics of when you finish the show.
But most of these other ones, I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember at least the general shape of that.
Right.
Like Kitty's Back, I'm like, okay. But like Candy's Room, I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
I guess it was there. Trapped, I remember, because I'm like, everybody's
everyone. I was like, everyone knows this song.
Everybody
now.
knows this.
I was like, I feel like this is a big song by Springsteen that I don't know, but it's not really.
Yeah,
Springsteen song. So,
Burnin' Train, he's got on here. Not my favorite off that album, but again, I think it was good to see that album get representation. Johnny 99.
Yeah, very exciting version of Johnny 99.
Yeah. One you were like, there's no way they're gonna play like Nebraska necessarily.
Yeah, I was like, surely they won't do much in Nebraska, but that version, I have heard him do interesting versions of Johnny 99. There's a live recording from probably 2011 or so at like the New Orleans Jazz Festival.
Yeah,
that he did with the Sessions Band. That's a pretty cool version of Johnny 99. Okay, so he's definitely been playing with it over the years.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the next version.
What a great album to do that with. It makes me think of Loving the Alien by David Bowie.
Yeah, but the opposite.
Right? Because like Love the Alien, was like, well, this is kind of a shit track when I made it, but we finally found something that works.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal live version.
Absolutely.
It's incredible. But yeah, to go like, well, we made this acoustic demo. It was incredible. And we could never figure out how to build on it.
Yeah, although, famously, they did record a lot of the tracks on Nebraska with E Street Band, and then they decided not to release that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if, who knows, maybe that's what it was.
If they're just doing the Easter, I feel like probably not.
Like, that's Electric Nebraska, but it is maybe if they were to do it now, hypothetically, that's what it would be.
I guess exactly, right? But I think they're coming back at it with that experience and being like, well, it's a live version anyway, so it lives in that moment. And even if it gets recorded, it'll just be known as the live version of Johnny 99. And that gives you the space to be creative with it, to play with it, and to do a massive 10-minute version that starts out in this folk realm. We do a big, and I mean big, but tight round of solos on, but it's about every string instrument.
Oh yeah, there was so much soloing
and seamless stuff.
Yeah.
To talk about soloing briefly, I kind of didn't. And I know I should think of Bruce as also a guitarist,
right?
But seeing him knock those solos out, I'm like, oh fuck, that's Bruce doing that.
Because I've had that too, where I'm like, no, he's like the singer and the band leader.
And he plays rhythm guitar probably.
Yeah. But no, he plays he's obviously, he's been playing guitar for what, 50 plus years?
He started when he was 15 or something like that.
60.
So getting close to 60
years. Almost 60 years. And yeah, he can play, obviously. Yeah. But I've had made that mistake too of not necessarily thinking of him as more of no, of course he's strumming. Of course he's strumming.
Oh, yeah, he's playing the guitar. But then I'm like, okay, if it's solo, I'm going to look at Steve Van Zandt. And then I look up on the big screen. It's like, that's Bruce's guitar.
Oh, Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, shit.
He's got the guitar. He learned how to make it talk.
That's
from his perspective.
Exactly. And he sure as fuck makes it talk. So yeah, Johnny 99, you get this solo section. I think that was kind of the highlight of what I'm considering the blues. No, not the blues, because they go into real nitty gritty blues later, but the sort of folksy country section that they kind of bring us in on. And then we get something so absurd, but also absurd and it's the power of Bruce Springsteen, where we get a just cowbell section.
Yeah. And then he makes a more cowbell joke.
He makes a more cowbell joke, which is the absurdity of it. But then he commits to just cowbell and his vocals.
Yeah.
And then I think he even cuts the cowbell and just does vocals. And the power of this dude just singing to a room of 17,000 people is unreal.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I was always... There's a lot of rock stars who've blown out their voice, and now that they are in their 60s or 70s,
can't
really sing anymore. I don't know how he does it. There's no way his voice should still be viable at all. And obviously he doesn't have the same range as he used to.
Yeah.
But he adjusts and he sings differently and he doesn't like strain. Well, it sounds like he's straining. But it's not like he's forcing notes he can't sing or trying to force notes he can't sing. Like he's doing the right things to sound good, even though it's not as wide.
Yeah, he's rediscovered what old man Bruce's range is, right?
And he still has the same like quality to his voice that's like really raspy. And like, I don't know. It shouldn't be possible, but for some reason
he's doing this night after night after night for 3 hours. He's doing 2 shows for a regular person, like a regular band, if not 3 per night, and it boggles the mind.
Yeah, like there's plenty of old rock and roll stars I've seen who don't really sing, like can't really do it anymore.
Yeah, so he's given us that. He's given us a more cowbell bit in the year 2023.
Yeah.
That's
making us shout for cowbell. We shouted for cowbell.
We shouted. And got us to participate.
Yeah.
There are a few people who could get you to actively participate in a very dated joke during a live show. Bruce Springsteen can do it. And they go from that into this like real like dirty blues segment version of Johnny 99. We up the kind of like blues guitar patterns.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of variations in there.
Yeah, massive, huge. And you're like, well, surely we're gonna go to something small. We go to the East Street Shuffle.
Yeah, East Street Shuffle. I really liked because like they kind of telegraph it because the beginning of the East Street Shuffle on the album is a lot of like weird.
Oh yeah,
like kind of random sounding like horn noises. So they start doing that kind of stuff and being like, and like the different horns are playing all around. And I was like, oh, is this going to be the East Street Shuffle now? Are they going to the East Street Shuffle? And then they do that, and then the fast guitar strumming.
Okay,
and it's like, okay, we're going into the East Street Shuffle now. And then they do, and I love the East Street Shuffle.
Fuck yeah, that's one I'm gonna have to listen to. There's a few from this concert where I'm like, I gotta listen to that one a few more times.
I'm a big fan of the Wild, the Innocent, and the East Street Shuffle. That's the second album.
That's the second album. Okay,
so early album. There's some good stuff on there. That's where Rosalita's off of.
I do know that one because I saw it was on like his top 10 Spotify songs. Right. So I chucked it on my like.
And I mean, it's in list. It was played at Dwight's wedding reception in the office, so it's classic.
Oh, it's a class. I'm watching Dwight's wedding reception every week.
Oh yeah, every time you cycle the office,
big office and weekly.
I
do a season,
9 seasons
and change a day.
Yeah.
Well, the first season's short.
First season short.
Yeah, so I do 1 and 2 together.
Yeah, of course.
And then the last 2 together because
no,
I don't. But, so I had no.
I was very excited to see that. Was that when they were doing the like conga line?
I believe that was for the East Street Shuffle.
Everyone gets in the line and walking around, going back and forth and playing their brass.
Love a good bit of brass.
Oh yeah.
And he was hunched over in that the random noise segment, just like he was completely
like a marionette kind of deal.
Yeah, and he kind of like did these like dead arm movements.
Right, he was kind of directing them.
Yeah, again that band leader motif.
Yeah,
very present.
Every time he would swing his arm, someone would go. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and so he's warmed us up with this. He's given us like the mastery, the power of music.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's one of those moments where like if you know the song, you're like, okay, that's what's coming, so you can anticipate it. And everyone else is still kind of on the edge of their seats because like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
This is confusing,
I was confused. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. And I think I leaned over to you. I was like, he's going to play the East Street Shuffle. Did. I don't know if you heard me.
I leaned back and I said, it's Downeaster Alexa.
Yeah. really expected a Downeaster Alexa cover. I don't know.
Come on.
I thought there'd be more Billy Joel stuff. Like late Billy Joel.
I think I'm in Long Island for some reason. Like, yeah.
It's an island, right? Seattle?
Seattle's an island?
Feels kind of long. Kind of.
Yeah. But here is where we start to
break it down a little
Bruce
bit.
Comes out a bit. He takes the mask off, and we see this is him starting to talk about death.
A little bit of like Springsteen on Broadway style.
Yeah, a little bit of 100%. I was like, I was a little worried for a second. I was like, oh my god, his brain's going. He thinks he's in Broadway. He thinks it's 2018 again.
Doing this again.
So he talks about This friend of his, Glenn something.
I don't remember the name.
He was a band member from his first ever rock
First ever band. The guy who said, like, hey, I want you to come join. I heard you play guitar.
I heard you play
join
guitar.
our band.
You should join my band, the Castiles.
Yeah, the Castiles.
Named after a shampoo, which we thought was going to maybe lead into Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
But then he talks about this guy's passing away and the song he wrote to kind of cope with that and understand that, Last Man Standing, which features on Letter to You as well.
Because he's the last member of this band.
Yeah, he's the last living member of this rock band.
Which is wild. And maybe they were all older than him, too.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Still, I mean,
like,
60s and 70s, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah. And this dude passed in 2010-ish.
That was when that was?
That was when that was.
Oh,
and so that's why this song, Last Man Standing, 1 is on Letter to You, and 2 has that sort of like poignance where he talks about how has this sensation of being on a train track and seeing the blaring light of a train coming at him.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce is now starting to really, like, it's really taking physical shape for him. It's becoming a real reality that death is very close.
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
even if it's 20, 30 years away, like, it's still very close.
And like death, he's got to slow down before that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something's got to change.
So like,
even if it's not death, it's the end of the rock star Bruce Springsteen kind of thing.
Yeah. Something is dying, if not Bruce himself. Like, some parts of him are going to die and change. And so we get introduced to this. And quite cordially, it's like we're not all suddenly devastated, but he like brings us into this, and you still hear people going like,
"Yeah,
we fucking love you."
I was like, I don't know, man. I don't want to cheer during this part.
I know.
I'm just gonna think about stuff.
Yeah. But he gives us Last Man Standing, and it's a solo acoustic piece, so the band can go piss and drink water.
Yeah, drink water.
And then to bring us back up, but also to stick us in this, because he adds a section on this next one, Backstreets. One of my all-time favorites.
Huge fan of Backstreets.
Huge fan of Backstreets.
I mean, I can say that about
the whole album. A
lot of Born to Run.
Yeah.
But I really like its placement there, because the way he presented it was kind of as a companion piece to Last Man Standing.
Yes.
Because it's like Last Man Standing is like looking back, and then now he's kind of reminiscing more about the time, or like thinking about what it means to be the last one alive. And now he's like, now we're going to think about remember the good times.
It really is a reminiscent song, and it's remember the good times tinged with a little bit of sadness in there.
Yeah.
After all this time, we find we're just like all the rest. What a devastating line.
And I feel like, did he change the lyric?
Yes.
Did he say something in the middle?
So typically there's like that breakdown that comes to the hiding on the back street.
Yes.
But tucked in the middle there, he repeats till the end.
Till the end.
And then he talks about having these 45s, these books, all these things
from the guy
who
passed away, and he
passed. And then we kick into that.
Yeah.
On the back street.
So
on the back street.
I do like, I mean, it's nice when the songs continue to mean something to the artist, right? Even after 5 decades.
Yes.
Of performing them constantly. And it's constantly finding new meaning and actually thinking about the things you wrote and applying them to your life continually. So that's
exactly. So yeah,
cool.
It's phenomenal to see Bruce come to these songs. He's been singing for 50 years, whatever. And find new meaning in them. And even, I think, I don't know, because I haven't been to any Bruce Springsteen shows before, but I think maybe even informed by like his Broadway show in terms of like personal narrative structure.
Yeah, or at least like that mindset is there, like the same.
Because he kind of gives us the setup that he gives in those, where he's like, I was just a young kid back then.
Tells a story about it.
Yeah.
And then we hear the song that kind of gives, or he's giving context to the song.
And of course, musicians do that. They go, this song's about whatever, but he gives us it as a story.
And it really feels like it's like that kind of poetic speech in like his voice, and like you really get that he started off as like this like beat poet essentially, and then you kind of get some of that, even though it's not like rhythmic or anything.
No, but he has that like
there's a lot of like it's a lot of imagery and.
And you're all, and if you're like at the end of anything he says, you're like, man, Bruce Springsteen for president. Like, the man can speak.
I did see a Springsteen for president shirt.
Yeah, I did see that too, actually. They were close to us. But yeah, he gives us that. And so yeah, kick-ass song really ties into this mortality concept that is clearly on Bruce's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Because the Night, which was erroneously listed as a cover on the setlist site.
Yeah, which he wrote it.
He co-wrote it.
His recorded version didn't come out until 2012, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course we know The Promise, which that's off of, like compilation. But originally recorded by Patti Smith.
We love Patti Smith.
Yeah.
Great song, this one. I could have heard other songs instead of this one. I think I do really like this song.
Yeah.
But I maybe would have liked like I'm on Fire
or Fire. I don't know if does he ever play Fire?
I would love for him to play that.
That would have been cool. Another track. Like The Promise.
Other Promise session ones. Yeah. Almost anything else off The Promise I would have loved over this.
A song I wonder if he plays like Ain't Good Enough for You much, or what's the other one?
I wonder, there weren't a lot of his, like, besides Thunder Road, Born to Run, and Dancing in the Dark, which I think, again, taking on new meaning in this part of his life as just songs of the people. Like, he didn't seem to do a lot of his, like, young love songs. I guess She's the One he did.
He did do She's the One.
But not a lot of ones where he's like, hey, little girl, this little girl. And I don't know if that's just
Rosalita.
Like he does those elsewhere. Oh yeah, Rosalita.
But I guess no, you're right. It's I don't know what Candy's Room is about. I don't know that song very well.
I know, right? I might be wrong about Candy's Room.
Yeah.
Candy's Room, I think, is about an older woman.
I'd have to check that.
I'm pretty sure because like he gets to go to Candy's Room.
It's off of Darkness on the Edge of Town.
Yeah,
it's probably a little darker.
Yeah.
Huh. I don't know Darkness on the Edge of Town that well.
No. But yeah, She's the One comes after this. He gets us to sing along on this one.
Oh man, great time! Love that song so much.
It's a great song.
Intro.
Yeah,
I have sheet music for that. I'm trying to learn it. Yeah. It's not like that difficult. It's basically 2 sections.
Yeah,
but like I just played it for so long. I just like hurt my wrists.
Yeah,
couldn't stop. I was like, I love the sound of these 3 notes in succession.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, great track. Love that. Wrecking Ball, not a one I'm familiar with.
I really like Wrecking Ball, the album. So I was happy with that one.
Yeah, but this one also fucking rocked.
Yeah, it's the song Wrecking Ball the album gets a little like gospel-y at times.
Yeah, it does not surprise me.
They didn't do the like that end of, I think it's the end of Wrecking Ball where they do like, I want everyone to come out and be counted tonight, like preachy stuff.
Oh, okay,
They didn't do that. Obviously.
They didn't do that. No.
But I wouldn't. They did a couple Wrecking Ball songs because "Land of Hope and Dreams" was also on Wrecking Ball.
And that's his like official set list closer.
Yeah,
and that was a first apparently for the tour.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, pretty cool. But before that, we get a couple other tracks. One being "The Rising."
The Rising.
So yeah, you want to talk about that church gospel feel? Wrecking Ball and "The Rising" back to back is like a real like.
Yeah, The Rising is, that's off of The Rising.
Yes. We just listened to that.
We just listened to it. We're not huge The Rising fans, but I think it was a pretty big, like, post 9/11 hit because it was kind of about that.
Yeah. Come on up to the rising.
And then it kind of, like, fell into that, like, it was part of the, like, maybe pro-America or, like, let's, as a nation, come together after this tragedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in the same way as some of the more xenophobic music that grew out of that.
That grew out of it.
I don't think. As far as I know.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like his thing. But it's a pretty big hit, is my point. And I think, and everyone was really into that one.
Mm-hmm. Hugely into that. Interesting to pair it. It comes after Wrecking Ball, which is about like, I'm guessing destruction.
Yeah. Kind of. It's about more like being a wrecking.
Right, being that force. Yeah.
I think.
I see. Yeah, they're both big like
Bring
energy pieces.
Come on, take your best shot. Let's see what you've got.
Let's see what you've got. Yeah, it's a real pump up jam. So he gives us 2 pump up jams. Hits us with Badlands.
Yeah.
Just another great
Another
track.
big one that I think he's been doing pretty regularly.
Yeah. And then we close on Land of Hope and Dreams.
Which is very inspiring.
Yeah. This train. A lot of lines about this train that carries good shit. Not bad shit.
Said a snippet of People Get Ready by Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, which I don't really know that well.
I don't know that one either. But then, that's your main set.
Let's see if I forgot to mention anything cool about the main set.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a bit. I know there was a lot of stuff in Johnny 99.
Yes.
I think this was in Johnny 99. I don't remember exactly. There was a bit where he did like a harmonica saxophone back and forth thing with Jake Clemens. They kind of, it's fun when he gets his harmonica out and just kind of like holds it in front of the mic.
And it holds it up to the mic.
And then they just did like a little trade off. That was cool.
That was cool.
Big fan of that.
Big fan of him playing harmonica in general.
Yeah.
Very cool. The man does not sweat.
He doesn't sweat as much as you'd think.
As much as you would think.
Okay. All the rest of my stuff is post-encore. So.
Post-encore. Yeah. So we hit the encore. The encore is crazy in its own right.
We already mentioned they didn't really like go off. There wasn't like a big pretense of like, oh, we're going to go backstage.
Yeah.
And you better cheer us back out here. Even though, of course, we have.
And then, but they threw on house lights.
They did. Like, how far into that? When did they? Was it during Born to Run?
I believe so. So we get Thunder Road kind of straight.
Road starts it. He comes back out.
Mm-hmm.
It's harmonica.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, cool harmonica. Starts playing the intro to Thunder Road. Everyone knows what's going on because it's Thunder Road, and we're all Springsteen fans.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
Yeah, and he gets us to sing. Like he stops singing one part. In the first verse. And
I don't even remember. I was already singing, so it didn't even matter. I would have said it either way.
Do that trick.
I was like, time to be louder now, I guess.
Performances, yeah. Though, so it's like you're seeing some classic moves off him, and of course it works because we're all already singing.
I'm in.
That's the encore is by and large karaoke with Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
which is insane.
Which makes sense why he brought the house lights.
Yeah,
up,
but that's why you bring the house lights on. And it was uncomfortable at first, but then you're just like, well, all right.
Yeah, you get used to it. Like, everyone can see me. They could, I guess, see me before.
They could see you, but like, they don't care. We're all still looking at Bruce.
Yeah.
And so you get, Thunder Road and Born to Run back to back.
Very exciting.
Those two are very similar tracks.
Yeah, they have a lot of similarities. Thunder Road's cool because it's like continuous, like it's a continuous build from start to finish.
Yeah.
And then Born to Run is, well, it still has that like
it goes up and down because you get the let the window back here. Yeah, dog. So of course you're getting nonstop hits here, and also Glory Days is thrown in. But let's talk about Rosalita. Born to Run, another sing along one. I think Rosalita is the next big.
Yeah, because it's pretty raucous song, and there's a lot of exciting parts, and there's a lot of sections. I've seen him do the thing he did at the start before, where he gathers like his band to the center. They kind of huddle in for the beginning of Rosalita. So I also kind of knew what was going on there. Yes. Like, oh, is he going to play Rosalita now? And then he did. There's a lot of times where I was like, if you stop now, I would be satisfied. And then he just kept going. I was like, it's even better.
Exactly. Like, not only is he never running out of hits, but he's not losing my attention either.
So I kept thinking like, oh, this will be it. This will be the end. This will be the end. And then it wasn't.
It came to the point where it's like, it was like narratively, it was like, you cannot add, like he can't come back out at the end and be like, here's Atlantic City.
Yeah.
It just would not make sense.
Yeah.
So he draws it out to its logical and emotional conclusion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when you're listening to it, you're like, well, yeah, I guess he could stop now. It's like, well, yeah, and now he's done Thunder Road, he could stop. And it's like, oh, now he's done Born to Run, he could stop.
He could stop.
Oh, now he's doing Rosalita.
Oh, right. Yeah.
All right. And he does that, and they do the big walkout, the whole band onto that catwalk and back, the horns and him.
Yep.
Big energy piece. We're all clapping along and shouting, "Hey!" at one point.
Hey!
It's incredible that we still have energy at that point, but we're all still
going.
Doing it.
I mean, he's doing it. He's 70.
Yeah.
71?
71. Big number.
Yeah.
And then he plays arguably the worst song of the night, but it's so important and had me thinking Glory Days.
Yeah. Again, it's a fun song because it's been about thinking back on your life, but that was in the mid 80s. So it's a decent song.
Yeah,
I like it, but it's also mostly there because it's a pretty big hit.
Yeah, pretty big hit, and I think it again he's Bruce Springsteen, the rock star on stage.
Oh yeah,
still kind of doing his Glory Days.
Yeah.
And in some ways, still playing back to this older time because he's playing Dancing.
Yeah, he's playing the old hits.
Yeah, he just played us all the hits, and now he's like Glory Days, and which is a hit, and it's also about just glorifying the past and not looking to the present or the future.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a man who's running out of future, so it's a weirdly poignant song. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, do I even have glory days? Like I'm 29. I'm turning 30
what
soon.
days do I have to look back on?
Yeah.
Sometimes I talk about high school. I'm like, oh, not great.
That sucked. Yeah. So it's a song that not a big fan of it, but I think in terms of
it works. Yeah, it works with his repertoire.
With his repertoire, where he's at, what he's thinking about.
It just didn't hit as hard as the Backstreets because I don't like it as much.
Yeah, exactly. It's still respectable in its own right. I think in terms of the narrative structure, I like it. Dancing in the Dark.
I love that song.
Come on. Enough said. Big horn emphasis on this one. Horns on it. Really worked for me.
Yeah, we have a little Dancing in the Dark dance we've done before.
We shout out to a previous guest, Stephen Reynolds.
Who was there? Stephen Reynolds was there. Ronald Chang was there. Was John there?
And Sean?
John Bell might have been there. We probably talked to him about it. This was back in like junior high school. We were young. We were doing it for years. And we finally got to do it to the song live in the same place as Springsteen. So very exciting.
It's just a little pelvic thrust.
It's basically a pelvic thrust
to the side. Hand motion.
You don't want to do it too close to someone else, or you will be harassing them.
Yeah, you will be harassing them.
It was just a dumb little thing we did when we were 13, and now we've done it in a stadium with 17,000 people.
Yeah.
Watching us.
They were all looking at us. It was weird.
For us.
The big screens flipped us.
Flipped us, and they're like, "Damn, what are these fucking?"
But it was funny because during that song, when we started doing it, Bruce did say, "Keep it up, Jake."
He did.
I was like, huh? What the fuck?
Yeah, he did. That's what happens when there's a Jake on stage.
Yeah. And then from Dancing in the Dark, he's given us the glory days. He's given us the hits, and now he's giving us his outro. So first he does, I don't know how long this bit has been his live bit, but I used it today as the intro for you. I've written.
I feel like he's been doing that forever.
But how long have they been taking Viagra for?
He added the Viagra thing. Yeah.
Okay, so it was just heart stopping, pants dropping, house rocking, earthquake, and booty shaking, love making, legendary.
Yeah.
But then he had to add in the Viagra taken, very funny.
Yeah.
Very classic. And then the lights, the big screen show up, and he gets us to say E Street Band. Killer.
Yeah. So now you understand the intro if you've listened to this long.
You're like, what the fuck are they talking about this week? What are they going to talk about the first cover?
Yeah.
It was Jimmy Cliff.
It was fine. No, it was good. It was great.
It was good. So he does that and then, of course, gives us a song. We celebrate the E Street Band by listening to a song about the E Street Band.
Yeah, which it's fun that's become that. Like it was kind of his song that was like a story about his like the formation of the band, and then now it's become this like tribute to the band, and particularly Clarence Clemons.
Yeah,
but I think they showed some other images because there was one other member of the band
dude up there
at
one point. Yeah,
so it's kind of a tribute to the members who have who are no longer with us.
Who are no longer there. Yeah.
But and then he always says like this because. He says, like, this is the important part, because there's the line of the big man joined the band,
the big man joined the band,
And if you watch old performances of the song, that, like, literally, they do that bit, and then, like, Clarence Clemons kind of in the shadows, and then he comes in and just rips the saxophone.
The sax, yeah.
And so, like, that's his intro in the song, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But now it's, like, memorial.
Exactly. And even, like, Clarence Clemons joining the band, in the song is an important moment. It's important musically, and it's talked about even by Clarence and Briss. There was a quote I read way back when we talked about Lady Gaga's
Edge of Glory.
Yeah, Edge of Glory, which Clarence Clemons plays on, and there's a quote from him about joining the band. It's this completely like fictionalized. It's like the doors blew open and everybody stopped the music, and so it's such a like
the universe stood still for us.
Yeah, and so to have that still play out night after night at these tours, and to have it be this big moment, and have that big, memorial slideshow, which again, like anybody could do a memorial slideshow. Bruce Springsteen makes it important and functional.
It's a really nice tribute.
Just a knockout. And so that's your last big band one. The band finishes. We all applaud. He runs us through the lot of them. He does that big conducting session. That was before where he's like dun, 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 and they do these big like musical runs and then stop, and it's him like swinging his arms around, and then he gives us the band. Then he does the 10th Avenue's freeze out. I forgot to mention that bit
Right.
because that was huge. And then we get I'll See You in My Dreams.
Yes.
A sort of farewell to us and to Clarence Clements and a promise of eventually he's going to die.
Yeah, and all those we've lost along the way and such. But that was interesting because it's not, I don't think I've been to a show before where they are like, okay, that was our raucous encore for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And now let's chill out for a second. Let's remember that we're all going to die.
Be sure
and
to
let's
donate.
maybe accept it. And then, like, it's over at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we stayed until the house lights come up because, of course, we got it. But it's like, no, I think it's over.
Like, that's it.
Right? Like, it felt over. It felt like a satisfying conclusion. It was strange. I don't always feel that way. I've been to longer concerts and it just went fast.
Yeah, and I've been to shorter concerts that felt much longer.
Yeah. So I was just very excited.
Yeah, it was just
Very
a thrilling
exciting show.
conclusion. It was truly phenomenal.
Very satisfying show.
Very satisfying. Alex, are you going to try and get tickets for him in Calgary?
Like, there's definitely a price ceiling. I don't know who would go with me, and I don't know if I want to go alone.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And I looked at tickets for Vancouver, and it is
Steep. Yeah.
For much worse seats than I had here.
We did it.
We did it.
And I'm happy we did.
Fuck yeah.
I'm happy I did. I mean, I'm happy you were there.
I'm happy I was there too. I was happy to do it together.
Yeah.
If y'all are, even if you guys are like mild fans, if you get the chance, I say take it.
Yeah, I mean, if you can afford it.
If you can afford it.
It's not. It's expensive.
It's expensive. Tickets are expensive. But after this, folks, it's all underground concerts. I'm not paying more than fuck.
I know. I've been saying that, but like, I don't know if I'm really gonna be still doing these big classic rock shows. And then it's Springsteen. Like, I gotta go to Springsteen.
Yeah. Who else am I gonna do though? Right?
Yeah.
Who else?
I know. Like, everyone else is dead or don't necessarily care that much, or I've seen them already.
Yeah, I'm not seeing AC/DC.
Yeah,
I'm not going to Aerosmith.
I want to see Aerosmith.
I've seen Alice Cooper enough times.
I don't need to see like. Maybe I'd see Burton Cummings. I feel like that wouldn't be that expensive though.
Yeah, and it's Canadian.
I'd also have to go to probably a casino, and I might not do that.
Yeah, I'm also kind of over my casino concerts phase for now. Maybe when I'm much older and my current, more musicians are playing.
Yeah, if I have to go to a casino to see Frank Turner,
I'll do it. I'll do it.
But like, I don't need to see like. I mean, these are like maybes, but if it was like April Wine, some of the older guys, or Loverboy, or.
Well, hey, like April Wine's playing the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver.
That might be
your
cool,
birthday,
actually.
so.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh. I can always stay in Calgary and see Scott Bradley's Postmodern Jukebox.
Fuck yeah. It's a tough choice. It's a tough choice for
choice.
Sure. But yeah, I think I am going to try to conscientiously switch to especially non-Ticketmaster run concerts, which is a little trickier.
Yeah. It has to be small.
Because that's just local shows, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to get away from big arenas and stuff. Because even with said, like Bruce Springsteen, phenomenal, so good. Like, I think arenas are not the optimal concert experience.
No.
When I think again of like the British Bruce Springsteen, Frank Turner, that level of intimacy you get in the venues he plays pluses up the performance a bit.
Room, yeah.
Yeah, like, standing room.
I mean, yeah, you can just push to the front.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
If you really want to.
If you really want to. I like taking you to a show and then you like stand around and listen to sounds in different spots and then you pick a location. I'm like, that's where the sound is good.
Yeah. By the sound, guy.
Yeah, I was like, is it over here, me? Oh, here.
No, it's always by the sound guy.
It's right in front of the sound guy.
Yeah. All right, makes sense.
Well, that just about does it, I think. Unless you got any other things you think we missed.
Didn't get to see Patti Scialfa.
No.
I think she's out sick. I don't know.
Yeah. Who was that on the violin?
Susie something?
Okay. Susie Q?
Nah. Susie
I'm just going to pretend it was Patty.
Susie Terrell.
Okay. I thought he was being a little stiff with her. I was like, damn. Bruce.
Yeah, I was like, he has not interacted with his wife.
Not his wife. Okay.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
I thought she was out sick, and I know there was something I saw about like how they hadn't played tougher than the rest, but I wonder if it's just because she's out.
She's out. Yeah, that
Sometimes
would make
they
sense.
do let it.
Yeah, like in Springsteen on Broadway.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's just, like you said, he's not necessarily playing some of those love songs.
Those love songs.
Maybe he doesn't want to think about his like divorce song.
Yeah.
Post-divorce.
Getting
back into dating song.
Yeah.
Although it is kind of as a duet with his current wife. Like,
yeah, again, and you
nice.
talked about sort of the recontextualization of a lot of his material.
Yeah.
I think that's one that has new context.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dog. That does it for today's episode of Cover Me, I think.
Yeah. I think I got it all out of my system.
I think I got it all out. Be sure to rate and review us. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcasting apps. Tell your friends and neighbors about us. You can also email us at covermepod@gmail.com and tweet at us. #covermepod at Jake the Cressy at Alex Wise Guy. Send us your comments, questions, concerns, suggestions for future episodes. If you were at a Springsteen concert on this tour, tell us about your experience. If you were at this very show, tell us about that experience. If you saw us, don't tell us. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know about it.
How did you recognize us?
How did you recognize? Why didn't you say anything?
Yeah. Oh, you're the inimitable.
Inimitable.
Is that a word? The
Yeah,
good word?
I
The
believe
good
so.
word?
Yeah.
Cast
Hosts.
hosts of the Cover Me podcast.
Yeah.
Famous for our faces.
Famous for our faces.
Famous for our faces pasted over other faces.
Yeah. I feel like your bodies look different than I expected.
You normally wear shirts?
But that does it from us today. And as we always say on Cover Me, brew.